The crypto industry is looking to move past the recent downturn, regain investor trust, and return to rapid growth. Beyond regulators stopping bad actors, industry leaders are already evolving solutions allowing users secure and reliable ways to move funds. Amber Group is a leader in digital asset trading and infrastructure, and Fireblocks is a platform that prides itself on secure transfers. Stephen, Thomas, Asia has really pulled out in front of the rest of the world in terms of adoption and utilization of crypto. How do you think about your participation with the regulators and governments, Stephen?
Regulators put in place different rules that impact security, right? In terms of how they should operate or how customers or financial services firms need to operate in digital assets. And the implications of putting together regulation that is not adaptive for the way real world use cases are happening can be significant, right? If you think about the concept of cold custody, right? This idea that a digital asset should be offline, right? And hard to access. But if a real world use case is moving asset from point A to point B to really ascertain value, then this idea of cold storage is directly contradictory to the real world use case and application of digital assets.
Yeah, creating more friction actually.
Creating more friction rather than less. So from our perspective, we are an educator when it comes to how we interact with regulators. We provide a lot of context in terms of what kind of technology exists, what are the best operational practices, what are the best security practices.
And Thomas, one of the things that's interesting from my perspective is when we think about unbanked populations and the applications that can be developed for those and the positive social impact that can be had. What role can Amber play in helping the unbanked population?
Those unbanked populations, they definitely need actually the accessibility to the finance systems, real-world asset-backed tokens. So in my mind, there's no distinction between stablecoins and other asset-backed tokens, because if you think about the value of a US dollar, it also swings a lot. So it's more about value anchoring and more about it create ties to real-world non-crypto assets. So for Amber, we actually quite actively exploring opportunities for those like real-world asset-backed tokens.
And we've all seen the strengths and the weaknesses of centralized exchanges versus more decentralized constructs. What's the Fireblocks perspective, Stephen, on decentralizing these exchanges?
Look, I think we're bullish on decentralized technology, right, and the applications of smart contracts on chain. If you look at what happened during this entire cycle, most decentralized applications work the way they're supposed to. They liquidated when they should. They don't know who the counterparty is. They don't give preferential treatment to one counterparty or one wallet or over another. So I think that is unique. Now, the
strengths were evident.
The strengths are evident. I think in order for real adoption to happen there's going to be a lot of work done around decentralized identity, for example. How people interact with these different blockchain protocols or on-chain protocols will be key, because that will be what's needed to kind of mitigate some of the regulatory risks that we see in the space. And you're seeing even central banks look at decentralized applications, look at Singapore and what they've done with Project Guardian and using a decentralized application to basically enable trading. And so I think we'll see that come into the mainstream quite a bit, probably towards the end of 2023 into 2024.
Well, I think that you mentioned something there that's very important with respect to identity. And when we talked about a solution for the unbanked population, digital identity and self-sovereignty are two key themes that, of course, enter that equation very quickly. How does Amber Group think about self-sovereignty, Thomas?
We actually seen, the crypto gains its popularities in the past few years, but still barriers if you compare to, the users outside of this circle. It's still like high barriers for newcomers to enter into this space. So for us, I think the more fundamental question for us is how can we actually, make more users to benefit from the technology and upside of crypto. We are, not like standing on either side, like it should be purely decentralized or purely centralized. It's more about the value we bring to our users. So we actually seen there's, centralized finance will still play a quite critical roles to deal with all the math, all the pain points, all the barriers for new users.